For step 1, we need to create a username called Bizhub. Go to the lower left hand corner of your screen and left click the Start button. Right click on Computer and select Manage from the menu. Now left click on the arrow next to Local Users and Groups and right click on the folder labeled Users. Select New User from the pop-up menu. We're going to give this user a name of Bizhub, B-I-Z-H-U-B. I did it in all lowercase. It doesn't matter if you use uppercase or lowercase. Just make sure you be consistent throughout the whole process. We're going to use a default password we like to use, which is !, uppercase P, A-S-S-W-O-R-D, !. And we're going to put it in the second box as well to confirm. Now uncheck the first box and check the two middle boxes. So user cannot change password and password never expires. Make sure your screen looks like this before you continue. Now click Create to create the username. Click Close. Now go up to Users and click on Users. Double click Bizhub. Click the Member Of tab. We're going to click Users and then click Remove. Click on OK. And now close that window, and that's the end of step 1. For step 2, we want to create a folder to scan to with the name of My Scans and create a desktop shortcut to this folder. Click on the Start button in the lower left hand corner of your screen. Now click on Computer, double click Local Disk C, and you can either right click in any space, any white space, and highlight New and select Folder. This can also be done with this button up here labeled New Folder. And we just want to give that folder a name of My Scans. Hit Enter. Now right click on the folder, go to Properties, left click on the Sharing tab. Now we want to click Share. Now we created a user named Bizhub in step 1 and we want to allow this user to access to this folder. So type B-I-Z-H-U-B and click Add. Now Bizhub only has the rights to read this folder. We want to change this, so left click on the arrow and select Read and Write. Now left click on the Share button at the bottom of the screen. Just be patient, it takes just a moment. Now click on Done. So now our folder is shared out and Bizhub has access to it. Just to make sure he has full access, we're going to left click on Advanced Sharing, click on Permissions. Now we're going to click the Add button. We're going to add Bizhub in here as well. So type B-I-Z-H-U-B, left click OK. Basically, if that pops up, that's asking you if you're trying to find that user on the domain, and it's good good example that did pop up. I forgot this time, but basically from this location we can left click on locations, and we want to change that to the computer. So just select the computer from the top of the list, click OK. Now if we click OK, it'll find Bizhub on that local computer. And we want to click full control. Now Bizhub has full control of this folder. Now just left click OK, click OK again, and we can left click on the security tab at the top just to make sure Bizhub is in here and he has full control. So now just close that out. Last thing you're going to do is right click on the My Scans folder, highlight Send To from the pop-up menu, and left click on Desktop Create Shortcut. Now we can close this window, and that completes step 2. For step 3, we need to create a one-touch on the copier in order to scan to the folder that we just created. The first thing we need to do is get the IP address of the copier. So go down to your Start button, go to Printers and Faxes. This might be a little different on Windows Vista or Windows 7, but it's pretty much the same idea. You might have to go to Control Panel and then go to Printers. And once you find your printers, we're just going to right click and go to Properties. It'll be called Printer Properties in Windows Vista and 7. And we're going to go to the Ports tab at the top. Click and drag between port and description. And now we see that the port is 192.168.1.66. Let's go ahead and write that down. Now click Cancel, close that window, and now we're going to open up our internet browser. I'm going to open up Internet Explorer. You can use Firefox, Google Chrome, any browser that you choose to use is fine. So open up your browser. Now we're going to type in the IP address. Let's erase that. And let's type in 192.168.1.66 and press enter. If you ever get an HTTP error or a error 400, I believe it is, probably are going to have to download Firefox. Internet Explorer sometimes has some issues and doesn't want to browse to our machines. That being said, we're just going to click on the Scan tab at the top, and then all these blocks are basically different tabs on the machine, and within the tab we have 3 down and 5 across. That's 15 buttons that we can program. And to give that tab a name, just type it in here. We can type scan, hit apply. You see that gets transferred up here. And then we're going to program the first button. And we want to select TX PC SMB and select next. The one touch name is just going to be my first name. You can name it Office 1, Computer 2, name it whatever you want to. It's just a description so you'll know what it is. We could use the IP address if we had static IP. The best way to do this is by host name. And to get the host name of your computer, we're going to go to Start, right click on my computer, and go to Properties, and then go to the Computer Name tab at the top, and we're going to highlight and right click, copy the full computer name. If this said Virtual XP 566 blah 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 dot workgroup dot local or something, we would only want the first part before the dot. We never want that dot, and we don't want anything after it. So go ahead and paste that into the hostname box. And if it's something simple like Jared's PC, we could have just typed it out. I copied it since it was some numbers and a dash. One thing we do have to change is these are lowercase letters. Even if these are lowercase, we need to make them uppercase. And if you don't do this, it may work just fine. But later on, sometime down the road, it's going to quit scanning and you're not going to know why. This must be in uppercase, just, as a preventative measure to keep from having any problems in the future. Okay, now the file path is going to be my scans in all lowercase, just like the folder we created earlier. The username is Bizhub, B-I-Z-H-U-B. Password is exclamation point, uppercase B, A-S-S-W-O-R-D, exclamation point. And type it in the second box to confirm. Now file type is set to multi-page TIFF. Most people are just going to want a PDF, so we're going to change that to PDF. That's personal preference, whatever you want to set it to. Go ahead and click apply. And now we've created a one-touch named Jared. Now we can close this window, and if we go to the copier, that button will appear on the fax scan screen and we can test that out. And if we did everything right, it'll appear in this folder, shortcut to my scans. And that's the end of step 3.